Thank you. Again, my name is Jerry Calvin, born and raised here in McCook. Like Dennis, I do love McCook. It's a great town. Been happily married to my wife, Robin. It'll be 28 years in 39 days. Thank God she's kept me around that long. We have 3 wonderful children, 24-year-old daughter, Michelle, who lives in Sturgis, South Dakota. Can't get her to stay here. I think she loves the hills too much. We have a 22-year-old daughter, Sarah, who is a senior at the University of Nebraska-Kearney. And we have a 17-year-old son, Brian, who is a junior at the McCook High School, and he qualified for varsity cross country. Yay! So proud of him. Okay, as I said, born and raised in McCook, graduated from McCook High School in 1978, which seems like back in the Stone Ages. Went to college at MCC for a while, but that wasn't a real good fit. I was going to be one of those Holiday Inn guys that stayed at home the whole time. So I think my parents finally kicked me out and sent me off to the United States Marine Corps. Hoorah. Did 4 years as a military policeman, got to see the world. What impressed me about the world was how different it is from McCook and how splendid of a community is, how normal the people in this community are, because there's some really weird people out in the world. Got to see that firsthand. When we got, I was married to Robin in the service, and when we decided to get out and settle somewhere, it was really a no-brainer. It was come home to McCook. Besides having grandparents here, which meant free babysitting, it was a community we wanted to raise our children in. Again, it was a no-brainer. I was lucky enough to be chosen to serve on the McCook Police Department in '86 and have served the citizens for 22.5 years. Some great times and some bad times, but overall it was good. Decided to go a different path, a job a little less stressful and a little better money and better hours, by far better hours. Switched over, I'm working for the Pepsi company in McCook, and it's going very well. I still get to mix with people, which is what I'm all about. I just love people. I love serving. When Mr. Rogers decided to step down, I told my wife I wanted to ask to be selected to serve on the council. She thought I was nuts. Because she said, you served the community for 22.5 years. Why do you want to do this? And it's just something I want to do. I felt I was put on this earth to serve people, and it's just in my blood. So luckily, the council said, sure, come join this fine group of people. And I'm running unopposed, so I don't even know what I'm doing here tonight. Aside just to experience this and hear other people as well.
In your opinion, what is the city council's biggest challenge in the year ahead? And how would you approach making this challenge, turning this challenge into a success?
Challenge, I believe, will be to face all the budget items that keep getting changed. We talk about state funds coming, going. We are so dependent on our sales tax dollars, if those ebb and tide, just to stay within the budget, which I think, well, I know the city staff and council has an extremely strong budget. So I guess just to weather whatever budgetary oops gets dropped in our lap and how best we can handle it. I think that's our biggest challenge.
Hey, Jerry. Jerry, you're in the Marine Corps. I was in the Army. You worked for Pepsi. I used to work for Coke.
Oh,
in that spirit of things, I've got a good question for you. An elected official once told me that one of my stories contained more information than the public needed to know. Do you believe that the city council has a duty of 100% transparency with the public, or are there certain things, a certain amount of information that's in their best interest that they just don't know?
It could never be 100% transparency. And from that comes from my experience in law enforcement. I remember one thing a former police chief, Richard Brunswick, told my father, who worked down at Hormel Chevrolet. For those who remember Hormel Chevrolet. McCook is a wonderful town, he said, but really there's nothing good that occurs after midnight. He said a lot of the things that occur after midnight people don't really want to know, nor do they need to know. In those cases, I can agree with that. There are some things of a very private nature that the public really don't need to know. There are some things that, with economic development, we may be in competition with other communities, and we don't want to tip our hand at any point. With that being said, though, I believe the best thing for the public is as small a government as possible, with that small government, you should be able to see what is going on and what's happening. So that's kind of a wrap up of that. Well, I don't have a lot to say for a minute. Again, I'm running unopposed, so still appreciate to see you voting. That's the most important thing you can do. As one of the school board members said, you can't complain if you don't vote, and I firmly believe that. You've got to serve. So again, I just want you to go in and vote. And I'm going to do my best for the next 2 years and see what we can get accomplished.